So today I'm going to be coloring my hair red, and here's the lightener that I'm going to be using, aka bleach, to lighten my roots. And I'm going to be using 30 volume developer. So basically you just want to mix it up to a good consistency and until it's clumpy, because I have basically a clay lightener. So you want it clumpy to the point that it won't fall out the bowl.
No care about the season, no cuffing. I'ma lay cuffing that money. She'll do it all for 100. She hop on that dick like a bunny. Watch Kaden cause she asked with a couple 50, he keep dumping. Bitch, I for nothing or something. My pocket's fat just like a pumpkin. I put the money in a duffel. I don't know you, I can't trust you. No fast break, I gotta hustle. Rather show you than rebuttal. I'm chasing a second can cuddle. I could survive in the jungle, my shit keep jacking my lumber. I swear to God, I cannot fumble my heavens on just like Rapunzel. Ain't talking if it ain't about the numbers. Bitch, you ballin' like the thunder. Say that shit to make a wonder.
Oh my God, like my lips look so bad, but okay, you guys, this is a transformation, so bear with me. So you see me here tapping these roots with the lightener to get my black a little bit more blended with the brown, even though I know it's not going to be the same exact tone, you know what I mean? But just to get it lighter so that when I color it back down dark, it all blends within the same color or tone. But anyways, today's going to be a talk video as well as I go through my head. So I just wanted to talk about misogyny. And not just misogyny, but also just this patriarchal society which we live within. And a lot of men don't like to admit this, but women actually have very hard lives as well as men. And with the reason as this being is because of this patriarchal society in which women are a lot of times looked at as an object rather than a person. And the reason for this is because of the patriarchal society in which we live in. And for those of you who do not know what patriarchy means, I'm going to read word from word of the definition on Google. Patriarchy is a system or society of government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from, which is also a heavy westernized ideology because in ancient Africa, it was actually a lot of matriarchy, which is woman in power. Which is the reason why ancient Africa and Egypt thrived so well, because of women in power and women helping to keep men balanced, keep men grounded, keep men back aligned with the intentions, the desires, the true purposes of, the underlying goals. Always keeping Mother Earth and nature in mind. Nowadays, with men in power, what you see a lot of is just destruction and just pointless destruction. And with the help of a woman, the more emotional side, the more nurturing side of their beings, which a lot of men have trouble coming into terms with. But if they had a woman to keep them back aligned with Mother Earth and the true purposes of us being here, which is to live in harmony with the earth and each other, we would be less destructive. The earth wouldn't be in the state that it's in today with just being disrespected over and over and torn down. Everywhere you go, you see more trees being cut down. Why do we need more trees being cut down when there's a lot of land that we already have bombarded? However, my main talking point that I really wanted to talk about was just this double standard. So how I said women are looked at as objects, it's very true. It causes women, when they're in a setting with men, to be very self-conscious of themselves. And a lot of men don't realize this. Why? Because you're a man. So you don't understand what it feels like to be a woman and be continuously watched, continuously judged for if you're sexy enough, for that person's personal desire, even if you don't want to be looked at in that way by that person. You're an object in many people's eyes. And because of this, a lot of women abuse their sexuality. And you see what you call woman tricking, well, men tricking on women, and woman, you know, using men as puppets. But in this scenario, what is really the problem with it? I don't think the woman abusing her sexuality would be the problem in this case, but it would more so be the men's problem. And looking at a woman as an object in the first place, and looking at a woman as a parasite, as something to leech off of for their energy, to build their egos back up for them when they go out into the world, and have that knowing in the back of their mind that they have someone's life on their hands, giving them more power, making them feel more powerful in their being. But the main point of this was to talk about just this double standard. If a man is comfortable in his sexuality versus a woman, a man is looked at as just a god, someone amazing, the man. But if a woman is comfortable in her sexuality, she's looked at as a hoe. She's looked at as a lot of derogatory things. But in reality, in this world that we're living in, of relationships, a lot of relationships go wrong. A lot of people in relationships, and especially men, don't value their relationships and step out a lot of times with these same women that are looked down on. Right, so at this point, I have washed the lightener out of my head, and I'm showing you guys this is Hot Off the Press by Paul Mitchell, and it is a heat protectant. I like to spray this into my hair every time I'm about to use some heat. And so you see my hair lighten a little bit, not as at the point that I wanted. I wanted to take it out my hair as fast as possible because clay lightener is very fast. So at this point, I'm just detangling my hair and going to dry it with the blow dryer, because as you all know, you cannot apply hair color onto wet hair unless it is a specific type of hair dye you're using that allows that in the instructions. But always follow the manufacturer's label. So here you see me blow drying my hair, getting all the naps out as good as possible, making it smooth for when it's time to apply the color. It just glides on and making it easy for me, which also adds to the reason why I like this heat protectant so much, because it makes the hair more manageable as well. So it doesn't just protect the hair, but it also makes the hair more soft once it's dry. Here is our Pui Styling Treatment Oil. It helps to get through the hair as well. And here is Forever Blonde Dramatic Repair for lightened hair. It also helps all kinds of hair. Even if your hair isn't lightened, just becomes stronger for after them, those dramatic chemicals and all of those type of things that you might put in your hair to help the keratin and build back some of those proteins in your hair. Okay, you guys, I don't know what I was jamming to, but I mainly left this in here because it was funny. I'm up here jamming, and I'm listening to a song that's obviously my shiz night. But back to the main talking point. Might be hard for you guys to focus, but try your best while I'm dancing. But what I'm coming across lately is a lot of men who have their strong opinions about women and will not sit down to take the time to further understand a woman, but has so many opinions and so much to say about women, period. And it's something that really confuses me, really conflicts me, because as a man, why wouldn't you want to understand what you want to date or what you're claiming you want to date? Me personally, and I know a lot of women, make it their mission to more so understand men so that, they can understand their actions and that type of thing. But men, a lot of men will not ever take the time to farther understand a woman and just have that very old mentality thinking towards women. Oh no, a woman shouldn't do this and a woman shouldn't do that. But which is very old school way of thinking. And oh, and if she does, she a hoe. Like, but what about men? Like, what about men who are out here doing the same thing, if not worse? Are they not hoes? No, men are allowed to do that. But who says who? Says who? A lot of men love the idea of having multiple women as well, but they can't even stop to admit that the woman is responsible for your creation, and the woman possesses more than a man could ever, for the simple fact that she's allowed to bear children. Yes, you need a man to assist in that, but in the evolution of people and the evolution of mankind and the evolution in mammals, there have been species who reproduce on their own, and they're called asexual. And now for the reveal of the hair color, we have a violet and a burgundy mixed together, both from Walmart. And now back to the talking points. And these asexual beings, they are not male. They are female because they possess that reproductive genes in DNA. So a lot of men can't even admit that, but want multiple women. You can't even admit the power of the woman, but you want multiple women. And you can't even admit the fact that even you possess feminine DNA. If you look down to even breaking down the DNA, women possess more DNA than a man because of the fact that a woman reproduces. So with that being said, a man has all that a woman has, but a woman just has more. So in this part, you see me sectioning my hair off piece by piece and applying the dye. So with that being said about the DNA, in all actuality, a woman can do all that a man can do. But a lot of men do not like to admit that fact. A lot of men do not like to admit the fact that a woman is as powerful as you, and if not more. A lot of men don't like to become in touch with their feminine side, which is very much needed, especially for in the case of reproducing, because that's why a lot of men are not in touch with their children, because they're not trying to come intact with that feminine side. And the reason being a lot of men don't like to admit the powers of women is because I feel as though it might make them feel inadequate and just not, pointless. Like, what is the point for me? So what do you need me for? But, they don't realize that it's the union. It is the union. It is the combination of the man and the woman together that makes the power so strong. But the first step in a lot of cases for men is to come intact with your feminine side. A lot of women in this day and age have no choice but to come in fact with their masculine side and being the protector, being the provider for their families because the man is not present. Let's point out the fact that they don't call it Mother Nature for no reason. A lot of things around us are feminine. So to not come into touch with your feminine side, it leads me back to the point I first was talking about in the beginning of how this earth just has a lot of destruction. Where's the nurturing? Where's the love? They are more feminine emotions, more feminine sided. So you can obviously see what's missing here. We are in need of more of a balance when it comes to the masculinity and femininity. We need more of a balance, a healthy balance. Because let's be real, if men were so much more powerful than women, why would polygamous relationships be such a thing? And People talk about how it even is ancient and all of these things. So if you want to believe that, if men are so powerful, why would a polygamous relationship have two women? What is the benefit in that? It's obviously because the union was much stronger with two women rather than two men and a woman. The woman, like I said, helps to keep things back balanced. In life, something I had to realize was, just fake friends or people who don't have your best intentions and really want to sabotage you and come across as someone who cares about you, gives those little sly jokes that are really meant to hurt you, stuff like that. That's the type of vibe I'm starting to get from some men when it comes to women, you know, like a secret hatred towards women for whatever reason, you know. And yes, some women have that type of thinking too, but I feel like it's more so of men. Like they have lost their respect for women. Right, and I'm about to wash the color out and bam. Here is how it looked, freshly washed. Your hair is always darker when it's wet. So I'm just applying some of my products to my hair, detangling my hair before I go in with the blow dryer. I was really feeling my curls, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if the chemicals let my hair more loose, but I really was feeling these curls. And as a matter of fact, I think I might have had some conditioner still in my hair and was just trying to let that soak in to make sure my hair still has some moisture, because that's something that you really want to pay attention to with lightening your hair, is making sure your hair is getting the right amount of moisture and not becoming too dry. So I'm just working that conditioner in my hair to make sure before I rinse it out, my hair is goodly saturated. And as you can see me, I'm ironing these curls a little bit longer before I rinse it out. And here is it freshly washed, no product. I really love the color, even though it's not true to color yet. But I really love the color and my hair overall. Basically prepping my hair before I get into blow drying it. Which consists of first detangling, you know, so that once I start to blow dry, it's easy to get through and easy to make it straight, because I'm going to be straightening my hair. With straightening, that process really begins when you're blow drying. So basically that's what I'm getting into, putting the products in my hair, get my hair nice and ready for the blow drying process, detangling before I add any heat, to make it easier for when I'm stretching my hair out with the blow dryer. I guess I could also give you guys some tips for blow drying and straightening, since that you will see the finished product and how flowy it was, how nice it was. So it really starts with blow drying, and when you're blow drying, you want to keep slow and steady. So um as you're stretching your hair out, you want to move the blow dryer along with the hair, slow and steady, which is going to help to stretch your hair. You see how my hair, I didn't even take long to blow dry it, no cap. Like, I got through it really fast, and you see how straight it is already, which just come from the persistency and consistency of me being slow and steady and holding a steady hand as I'm brushing my hair in the direction that I want it to lay. This is honestly my favorite part of the video, because you can really see my hair transforming in this part, getting very straight, stretched out, and ready to be flat ironed. Just the transformation is really beautiful. Seeing what I am able to do. So I went to hair school, cosmetology school at Paul Mitchell. The experience was okay. I guess I could make a video about that as well. But overall, the skills I was taught was pretty decent. It felt like it could have been more, but it was COVID, so I'll leave that at that. And yeah, so you can finish to watch me straighten my hair, get it straight as possible before the flat iron. Another tip is this round brush, this metal round brush. I love the round brush because it really adds to the straightening process because this metal brush actually holds heat, so it makes it easier for getting your hair as straight as possible. And also with all of those holes inside of it, it's like, so it holds heat, but it's also, helping the flow of the air, to dry your hair faster. As you can see, me also making sure I'm adding all of the same products throughout my hair to add to the finished look. But I guess when it comes to men and women, like just this society we're living in nowadays, a big problem with many people is their egos. Many people don't want to let down their ego ever. But the ego is not what you should be feeding. You should be feeding your soul. So instead, people are feeding the flesh, which is the ego. The ego dies. The ego dies when you die because the ego is something that only you possess. Like the earth moves in harmony. It doesn't care about what you think. So the ego moves in the way that it personally wants to move in. So that is really the problem with a lot of people nowadays. Instead of open up their minds to the truth and open up their minds to things that make more sense, they would rather be stuck in their preconceived notions in their already taught stereotypes, their pre-programming and all of that types of things. The ego also leads to all of this division that we see amongst the feminine and the masculine and amongst groups of people. Now here is the finished product of my hair blow dried. Now I'm going to get into section my hair into 4 sections so that I can start to straighten my hair. This is absolutely my favorite part because once it's done, oh my gosh, once it's done, it was so beautiful. I can't wait for you guys to see the finished product. A lot of men subconsciously omit the power of a woman because I personally remember a guy talking to me about just women needing to respect their bodies more and things of that nature. And which just leads me to think, what about men? Why shouldn't men respect their bodies? Why is it just up to the woman to respect her body? And I feel a lot of men say this because, oh, well, you bear children, you bear children. All right, but just because a woman bears children doesn't mean that a man shouldn't have to respect his body as well. His body is also a temple. So what about a man's respect for his body? Or what about this one? What about a man's respect for a woman's body? Because a lot of men don't care to date a woman. They just want sex. So what about that part? What about this lustful way of living that we have been living so long and so wrong? What about that? What about the lustful state of living? What about the lustful way that you look at women? Doesn't that start with a disrespect to her body? Because she knows that a man is going to 9 times out of 10 want her in a sexual way. So the fault cannot just be on one side. It's on both sides. Because not only that, how can a man tell a woman to respect her body? But I bet you that same man saying that, I can go on his social media pages, let him give me his password, I'll go on his social media page. I bet you It's woman on there twerking and doing all types of stuff. So where was that idea then? When you were following these women, where was that idea that a woman needs respect for her body? And not only that, where was that idea when you're looking at a woman as in not just woman but sex as in a porn movie, like non-realistic at all, taking the realness out of it. Where's the respect in that? Where's the compassion in true love, making true love? Where's the respect in that? It's hard for a lot of men to even show that they care about these women, show that they love these women, and show their true emotions towards these women. So how is it completely that woman's fault for maybe soliciting her body or showing her body off on social media simply to maybe get your attention, maybe to get you to care about her more, maybe to get you to think about her or have herself on your mind in some way, shape, or form. And this woman doesn't have respect for herself. Where was your respect? It's really time we heal from our traumas, because also a lot of reasons for this as well, for men just treating women with complete disrespect, is because they're taking out their anger and their relationship with their mothers out on women in the world, and just having that idea that all women are the same and all women don't respect themselves and all types of things. Like, I literally knew a guy whose mom did some of these same things that I'm saying. And so he looked at it as all women is hoes and all women don't respect their bodies and all of this and that. Why say all women, and why not take this up with your mother? Take this up with the true culprit and not just try to throw that label on every woman. This, I could admit some women do it to men too, but I feel like it's more so of men nowadays. Like, men don't even like for example, Summer Walker just came out with an album, and I was talking to a guy about it, and this guy really could care less about this album, and like every time a song would come on, he would try to turn it off and stuff like that. But y'all can listen to music with men screaming and not really saying anything point with a purpose. But this woman made an album sharing her experiences. Something that also got me, he said that all she really saying is she's stupid. And I'm sitting here like, what? So, what about London? He wasn't stupid for wasting his and her time. He wasn't stupid for sitting up here wasting someone's time that he knows he doesn't want. That's not stupid. Did you know that your time is actually very valuable? So that's not stupid to waste someone else's time. Not only someone else's time, but your time as well on something that you know won't go anywhere. That's not stupid. And not only that, but how could you not understand that a lot of women actually go through this? This is real life. So I actually really commend her for putting her business out there, because I feel as though it was in hopes to help other women going through the same thing. A lot of women are going through the same exact thing. And I don't think they're stupid. I think that society might be stupid. I think that the programming might be stupid, but not the woman. Women are a lot of times, how is a woman stupid for being manipulated? Come on. How is a woman stupid for being manipulated? Maybe naive, but not stupid. So a tip for how I'm straightening my hair: have my heat on my flat iron all the way up. That's number one. Number two, I want to give extra attention to them roots. Pat those roots a couple times. And then slowly pass through the hair. This is in fast mode, but you can see I'm still going pretty slow down the hair. So basically really taking my time with it. Showing the hair love, you know. And back to Summer Walker's album. Not only that, but I felt like it was also a good message for men. Like, she was calling London out for having kids on kids on kids with plenty of different baby moms, which is something very prevalent in our day and age. And all she said was, if you're going to have all of these kids, at least be there for them. I don't feel like that was a bad thing to say. Because even this same guy, he even grew up the same way. With a daddy with many baby mamas. And he see how it affected his own life. You know, this is not the ideal way to live. It puts your children in a life of kind of a scarcity because their father isn't able to be there for them as much as they would like for them to. You know, this definitely does something to the children. And to be honest, I don't know how someone who didn't really have their father around, who was raised primarily by their mother, how they could still have such a bad mouth towards women when a woman took care of you with no male supervision, but you have some type of weird loyalty to men in their trifling ways just because you're a man. That's ego talking. And these same men, because the same men will badmouth female artists and stuff like that. But it's so funny to me because they be like, oh, female artists cannot rap. They just talk about the same stuff over and over. But the funny part is y'all not understanding that all of the artists have the same agenda. So if you don't like female artists because they're singing about popping a pussy and all of this, then you shouldn't like male artists because all they're doing is rapping about the same exact thing mirrored, but in a male way. But you can talk about female artists just because they're women, but not male artists. I can admit I was a person who didn't really care much for the city girls in the beginning, just because of all of the things they rapped about and stuff like that. But then I started to realize it's kind of just because women can't always be put down. You know, a woman in her sexuality can't always be put down just because men do the exact same thing. They do the exact same thing and are praised for it. So now that men seeing women being praised for it as well, they really don't know how to act. They don't know how to take it. They don't know what to do except for badmouth woman and, you know, not come to grips with the truth. My call to action for women watching this video is to come into more grips with your sexuality. Come into more terms with who you are, your womanhood, and stop allowing men to give you preconceived notions about who you are just because you are comfortable within your body. Okay? Okay. So now let's get back into this hair. As you can see, I'm going back through and adding some curls just to add some body to it and make it more cute. Okay? And adding curls all throughout my hair. And as you can see, the finished product is really coming all together as I promised you guys it would. And it's just turning out very beautifully. I love this color so much. You guys tell me what you guys think about the color as well. Compared to what I started with, the color I started with was really starting to fade. So I wanted to not only starting to fade, but the tone was starting to even turn a little green. I was not digging it at all. So I knew that red canceled out the green completely. So I thought to go with this burgundy-ish red color, which a lot of people have been loving on me as well. So here is basically the finished, and I love it a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys stop back with me. Peace and love to all of you guys, and hope to see you next time. Peace.